What's up, NASCAR Authentics fans? David Land here, and we're taking a look at 6 of the Darlington Throwback Wave, which I found at Target. And no, that was not a misspeak. I absolutely found these at Target. They were sitting on the shelf. They rung up for $5.09, which seems to be the new NASCAR Authentics price at Target. And there seem to be a couple more reports flowing in of these hitting Targets. So I don't know how widespread this is. I don't know if people are returning these to Target stores when they originally bought them at Walmart. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it would be a wise idea if you still need these to go check your Target stores because they may be showing up. Of course, I could not find any of these at Walmart, and I didn't have any Hy-Vee stores, so I felt I was pretty much out of luck. So it's pretty amazing that I was able to find 6 of the throwbacks, and at least, well, I would say 3 of them that I desperately wanted. And in particular, one in particular, easy for me to say, I desperately wanted, and I think if you've been a long-time fan of my channel, you'll know exactly which one that is. So, let's get into it. The Darlington Throwback Wave. Well, at least 6 out of 17 or whatever it is. Let's get into it. So, here is the first car we're going to take a look at is Austin Dillon's number 3 American Ethanol Throwback. I hope the cards tell me what the throwbacks are, because some of these older cars, I don't remember exactly who they're throwing it back to. I want to say this is... No, I'm not going to say that, because I may not get it right. So there you go, Austin Dillon 3, and it's got the throwback 3 on it, which is a nice little touch. Obviously, some Darlington Raceway colors as well, throwback colors. And then on the back of the card, this is how it is for all of the Darlington throwbacks, so that's all you get. You don't get any real special stuff aside from just the gigantic Darlington Raceway logo. So, let's get this thing out of its box and take a look at it. Ow. Probably just gave myself a paper cut there. So there's the card, and yes, there is some information on the back there, so I'll be able to not look completely uneducated. And here is the first of the Darlington throwbacks I will be reviewing. Alright, so here it is, Austin Dillon's E15 American Ethanol car out of its box. I can't say this was one of my more favorite throwbacks from this year. I wasn't a big fan of it. Didn't think it was too interesting as a scheme. It's really just a white car with a red, blue, and gray stripes. Can't say it's my favorite of them. In fact, the Childress cars, I think... Ryan Newman had one very similar to this, but it was yellow and black. So I would say that one was probably the worst of the two. At least this one's kind of got the America going on, which is always extra points in my book. Does look very good, the American colors on a stock car. But in terms of this one, can't say it's one of my favorite throwback schemes. So let's take a look at the card that comes with it. Of course, you've got the good old Lionel Render, the E15 American Ethanol car. And this is a tribute to Ricky Rudd. On June 5th, 1983, Ricky Rudd drove the number 3 Chevrolet to victory lane at Riverside, California after 95 grueling laps on the road course. This was the first of many wins for the now legendary Richard Childress Racing Team in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Fast forward to 33 years later to Darlington Raceway, where the number 3 Chevrolet SS driven by Austin Dillon pays tribute to the team's first win with a car inspired by Rudd's victorious Chevrolet. Boy, I wish they still ran 95-lap road course races in NASCAR. That would be awesome. But unfortunately, they don't do that anymore. But anyway, yeah, it's a pretty great tribute. Obviously, you know, if it's Richard Childress' first win as an owner, that's not a bad tribute. But I'm still not the biggest fan of this scheme. But obviously, reading the history definitely helps with my perception of the scheme. That is for sure. Pretty good looking car, I would say. I do like white race cars. And then you've got the red splitter, EL mold, all that good stuff. Not a whole lot else to say about it aside from the fact that, yeah, NASCAR should go back to 95-lap road races, because that would be kind of cool. So let's move on to the next car, and I think numerically, I can't remember. We'll just move on to the next car. So I temporarily forgot to count, forgot that 3 comes before 6. So we're taking a look at the Trevor Bayne number 6 Advocare Ford, and I have to say this is perhaps my most anticipated diecast in terms of NASCAR all year long. At least it was until Kyle Larson won a race. But anyway, this is absolutely fantastic. I think it's criminal, and I had to use Austin Dillon's car to prop this car up because for whatever reason, like the card thingy is way too high. But anyway, this is, I was so anticipating this car because I thought it was downright criminal that the throwback last year got canceled, didn't get produced. So I'm thankful that NASCAR Authentics exists as an avenue to get some of these smaller teams into NASCAR Authentics and get their throwbacks made. Obviously, this is a throwback to Mark Martin. You don't need to tell me that. This is one of the throwbacks I absolutely know what it's throwing back to because that was my childhood. So this is a fantastic car. It absolutely looks great. This is already a 10 out of 10 for me, whatever. Let's open this thing up because this is one I wanted to see and have for a very long time. So we'll pull the card out if is the card stuck in there? Oh, no, it's not. Wow, I was worried there for a second. I was like, oh, God, I don't want to rip the card. But here we go. The Advocare number 6 throwback. It has been a long time coming. So here it is, the hands-down best throwback, period, from 2017. You can take that Coke car and stick it where the sun don't shine because this is the best car, best throwback. It has been the last 2 years, and no one can tell me otherwise. An absolutely fantastic-looking car. The old Valvoline schemes were some of the best in terms of across the board, all of racing. And honestly, this should be like their main paint scheme for Advocare. I mean, the colors still work with it. Obviously, Advocare's colors are white and dark blue, so adding a little bit of teal and a little bit of bright red does not take, in my opinion, away from their branding at all. In fact, it kind of enhances it a little bit. So certainly, I would like to see this scheme go full-time, or a scheme similar to it go full-time for the Advocare car. Just run a throwback scheme the whole time. Or, well, not really a throwback scheme. Just run this scheme all the time. Make it the current year scheme, please, because this is just an absolutely fantastic looking car, and obviously it has a lot of great memories for me. And it definitely, this is one of the cars that I will say definitely shows that paint schemes were definitely better back in the day, nostalgia notwithstanding. So let's take a look at this card. Obviously you get the render, very nice looking, and on the back here, pretty simple. This number 6 Advocare Ford Fusion pays tribute to one of the most successful and beloved drivers in Roush Fenway racing history, without the Fenway. Part of Darlington Raceway's throwback program, Trevor Bayne's ride sports a paint scheme inspired by 1997 number 6 Ford driven by the legendary Mark Martin. Martin scored 4 wins and 24 top 10 finishes in this iconic car that season. Wasn't that nice? Those days, good old days, gone by. 97. Good year, I remember it. That may date me a bit, but whatever. Beautiful looking car, just a beautiful scheme. I absolutely love the old Valvoline colors, especially the light red. I mean, just it looks so good. If you saw the Jill DeFerrin review I had of a 1/18 scale IndyCar, that scheme was slightly better, and it was actually the scheme that they ran in 2015 for the throwbacks with the little V's. There was little A's for the Advocare. But yeah, just I love the color scheme that Valvoline used in these days, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. Definitely one of my favorite NASCAR diecast of the year. So I'm very happy to pick this thing up. Very happy to get it. Glad it was there at Target because of the 17 or so throwbacks that have been released, to get this one, luck into buying it myself, that is fantastic. So, without much more to say about it, let's move on to the next car in the wave. So here's another car that I'm very glad got in the throwbacks for several reasons. Number one, it's a Germain racing car. Obviously, I love the small teams, love to get diecast of the small teams, so getting them is awesome. Another reason, Casey Mears. He's out of this ride for next year. It's going to Ty Dillon, Boo, Silver Spoon Society, hashtag whatever. Unfortunate that Casey Mears had to get the short end of the stick on that one. He's kind of had that his whole career, though, unfortunately. And third, this is a Smokey Yunick tribute, and if you don't know who Smokey Yunick is, he is a great race car innovator, or was a great race car innovator, made Bill France Sr. very, very angry because he kept trying new things. And of course, if you know anything about NASCAR, they don't like innovation. They like the heck, they didn't even get rid of the carburetors until just a couple years ago, and mandated digital dashes, I think, last year. So yeah, innovation is not NASCAR's strong suit. So the fact that somebody was willing, Germain Racing was willing to pay tribute to a great innovator, race car innovator like Smokey Yunick, is a tribute to them, because it's pretty cool. So let's get this car out of its box. Beautiful, beautiful looking paint scheme. Very, very classic, and certainly one of the ones I'm very happy to have as a throwback. There's the card, and here is the car. So let's take a look as I drop all the stuff on the floor. Smokey Yunick Tribute, Casey Mears, number 13. So this scheme screams to me classic NASCAR. Just the color scheme, the gold rims, just the number font style. Very, very nice. Very nice presentation. I think Germain Racing nailed it with their throwback scheme in terms of getting an actual throwback feel to it. I do like this quite a bit. I think it's a beautiful looking scheme, especially with the gold and black. I think that's a good look. Actually kind of reminds you a bit of the John Player Lotuses from Formula One, if that makes any sense. But yeah, this is a beautiful scheme. Very, very nice. Like it quite a bit. I don't think it did very well in the race, of course, because the 13 car isn't very fast to begin with. But you know, if you're not going to go fast, at least look good going slow, I suppose. And they did a good job of doing that. Very, very nice looking car. Do like a little bit of the silver there too. I think they were trying to get a stock bumper look to it. So here is the throwback card. Very nice looking. That'll go good in the collection. And this is the Casey Mears Smokey Yunick Tribute. In the mid to late 1960s, Smokey Yunick was well known for his sleek and black and gold number 13 he owned, as he was for his prowess in the garage and on the pit road. As a part of Darlington Raceway's throwback campaign, Casey Mears, driver of the number 13 Chevrolet SS, honors Yunick's classic car with a replica Geico paint scheme. So yeah, doesn't mention too much of the controversy that happened with Smokey Yunick. Like I said, great innovator. In fact, brought an Indy car to the Indianapolis 500 in 1964, which was based on a motorcycle sidecar design. Yeah, it didn't make the race, but it was very, very crazy. As you can see, I haven't shown off any of the throwback contingencies yet. So, yeah, there's not very many of them, but you can take a look at them. Smokey's best damn garage in town. That's self-proclaimed. I'm not sure if that's verified by the Guinness Book of World Records, but whatever. Very, very nice looking car, though. I do like this quite a bit. I'm very happy that this one was available as well. Just for the fact to get a Casey Mears car in the NASCAR Authentics. That's pretty cool. I don't think we've gotten a Casey Mears car at mass market retail for a very long time. So the fact that we got one in Mears' last season, perhaps, potentially, is a good omen in my book. So let's move on to the next car in the wave, and I think we're just about out of the teens. Alright, so the next car in the wave is Ricky Stenhouse Jr., or if you're not John Force, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. This is a tribute to a driver. I don't remember who it is, so we'll have to look at the card. I want to say it's Pearson, but I feel like I'll get it wrong, and I just said it anyway, so I'll get yelled at in the comments anyway. This technically is the first Stenhouse we got in NASCAR Authentics, but it's the second one I've reviewed. Of course, the Sunny D car came out in wave number 8. So let's get this car out of its box and take a look at it. And we'll get the card out. There's your card. And waiting, there's your diecast. So let's go in for a close look and take a look at this car. Yeah, I was totally wrong on who this was a throwback to. It was actually a throwback to Darrell Waltrip. But whatever. I've already been yelled at in the comments, surely. So let's take a closer look at this car. I can't say it's the most interesting scheme in the entire world. There are some... I just don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. This is certainly not one of the ones that particularly interested me when the throwbacks were first unveiled. fairly generic. Maybe the card will give us some insight as to the history of this car, or the history of the scheme anyway. I'm pretty sure I can't remember, did Stenhouse wreck in the race, or was that last year? Or maybe it was both years, I don't know. But I don't think this car was particularly successful in the race. But it is nice to get another car on the Ford body. Good thing we finally got these Fords halfway through the year. Of course, with Toyota changing their bodies for next year, that means we're going to get Toyotas halfway through the year next year instead of at the beginning. So here is the look at the Fastenal Ford. And let's take a look at the back here. On May 10th, 1975, Darrell Waltrip powered to his first NASCAR Premier Series victory in the number 17 Terminal Transport Car. This season, as part of the Darlington Raceway Throwback campaign, Richie Stenhouse Jr.'s number 17 Ford Fusion replicates Waltrip's first win with a retro cool orange and blue Fastenal paint scheme. And you may be a poet, Lionel, and just not know it. But yeah, so this is about Darrell Waltrip's first NASCAR national victory. I do wish they had gone with white for the Fastenal logo where the orange is. I feel like that would have popped a little bit better. The blue on orange, I don't know. It's very Denver Broncos-y, and unfortunately not in a good way. But I do think this looks good with the blue Fastenal on the white. But again, I think the blue on orange doesn't pop quite as well as I think they would have liked it to. This is not one of my favorite throwbacks, that's for sure. I do kind of wish that for these throwbacks, eventually at some point, they would do a year theme, like assign a year for the throwback schemes to all come from. Like, it would be awesome if they did a 1997 throwback year, and just you could pick any scheme from the 1997 season, and then that would be the throwback. I don't understand. This is the thing I kind of don't like about the throwbacks, is you get like the variation of like really iconic schemes and then schemes from like a completely different year. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I kind of like to see it structured that way in the future. And I think it would be better for the diecast anyway, so we could just all get cars from one year. But that's just my opinion. So let's move on to a car that I am very, very excited to own, and 2 cars away from the end of the video. In terms of creativity, this is probably the most creative of all the throwbacks. This is Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart tribute, Heiress number 19, obviously throwing it back to the old Home Depot schemes of days gone by. I think this is, again, the most creative of all the schemes, just for how they did this, how they pulled it off. I think it's excellent. I think it looks great on the Toyota body as well. So just this was pretty much a home run. This would probably be my favorite if there wasn't a Valvoline car involved. But yeah, fantastic. Carl Edwards number 19. Very, very nice looking car. This is, again, one of the ones I really, really wanted out of the set, so I was very happy to see it on the shelf at Target. So there is the card, and let's get this bad boy out and take a look at the Tony Stewart tribute, Carl Edwards. So here it is, the most creative of all the throwbacks. It's amazing how well this worked. It worked with the branding for Heiress. Of course, Heiress runs an orange car normally, so the fact that they could keep their orange branding and still be able to pull off a very convincing throwback tribute, I think is a great, great thing. I think this car absolutely looks fantastic. Gives me great memories of the old Home Depot Toyota, or Home Depot Pontiacs. There was a Home Depot Toyota, but they never ran in the scheme. But yeah, of days gone by. Again, the Pontiac body style for NASCAR is probably my favorite stock car of all time. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and I think this Toyota does a really good job of actually capturing the look and feel of those old Pontiacs. They did a great job bringing this car to life. Obviously, Joe Gibbs Racing as well, so the scheme stayed in the family because Stewart drove for Gibbs. And of course, first place Heiress Modems. That's very, very clever. I think that's incredibly clever with what the old logo, or the Home Depot logo is, which says the Home Depot in that letter, or that lettering. So I think they did a really good job of paying a great tribute here. You can see the card. Carl Edwards Heiress Throwback. Carl Edwards, number 19, Heiress Toyota Camry carries a special one-time only paint scheme as part of Darlington Raceway's popular throwback program. Fans are sure to recognize the inspiration for Edwards' car, which was designed to honor one of the most successful drivers in Joe Gibbs Racing history. Did they not? Were they not able to pay Tony Stewart royalties for this? Why didn't they mention They didn't mention Tony Stewart at all. That's hilarious. Did Tony Stewart tell him to go screw off? I think that's kind of maybe what happened. Oh, Tony, you just don't care anymore, which is why a lot of people like you. I'm actually interested to see what Tony Stewart does with his newfound retirement. Retirement from NASCAR. Not retirement from racing, from what I understand. He's going to be racing a lot of different races very soon. But yeah, just an absolutely beautiful car. Not much to say about this. Obviously, my friend Brian LaFleur Jr., this is probably one of his favorite cars from the year, and certainly it is one of mine as well. I think this is an absolutely wonderful looking car. Definitely one of the better throwbacks, no doubt about it in my mind. I don't think this is definitely in the top 5, probably in the top 3 for me. Yeah, just really good. Gibbs did a great job with their throwbacks, particularly this and the Kyle Busch. Unfortunately, the Kyle Busch wasn't there. I wish I would have gotten that one as well. But yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. A must-have, I would say, if you're a fan of NASCAR racing from the past 15 years. It says Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the packaging, but in the truest sense of the word, this is a Jeff Gordon car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. never drove this car. It only raced once, and Jeff Gordon was a driver. So we're taking a look at the Jeff Gordon Gray Ghost Tribute. I believe, I'm not going to stick my foot in my mouth. I'm just going to hold off on the driver identification because I'm pretty sure I know the driver, but I don't want to get it wrong in case I get yelled at in the comments. I'm already going to get yelled at enough for calling this a Jeff Gordon car, despite the fact that he was the only driver to ever drive it in a race. But whatever. This is Dale Jr.'s 88, or Jeff Gordon's 88, and we're going to get it out of its box. And there's the card. And we're waiting for the car to come out. Come on, car. There we go. Let's take a look at Jeff Gordon's number 88 Nationwide Insurance throwback. So yeah, this is a Buddy Baker throwback, not a, what I was going to say was Neil Bonnet. So I'm glad I did not say that because I would have been wrong. But yeah, a Buddy Baker tribute for Jeff Gordon. I can't say this is, honestly, I can't say this is one of my favorite throwbacks. In fact, I thought this is one of the worst ones. Just kind of a boring scheme, if I'm being 100% honest. I know Junior Nation's going to get very upset with me for saying that, but I just can't. I'm just not into it. It's giving me a Halloween vibe, and I'm just like, what is going on here? The orange and black and gray, I don't know. Again, maybe the history on the back of the card will sell me on it a little bit, but yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I really wish we would have gotten a Mountain Dew throwback. I think that would have been a little bit more interesting, but you know, whatever. Nationwide paid for the race, so you know, they get the throwback and they get to sign off on the throwback and what it is and all that stuff. So let's take a look at the card for Jeff Gordon. I don't know why they spelled it that way. But Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s tribute to Buddy Baker. On February 17, 1980, Buddy Baker stealthily piloted his 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass through the Daytona 500 on the way to win. The Gray Ghost, as his car would become known, set the track on fire with a blistering average speed of 177 miles an hour. That speed still stands today because there weren't debris cautions back in those days. As a part of Darlington Raceway's throwback campaign, Dale Earnhardt Jr., that's a weird way of spelling Jeff Gordon, number 88 Nationwide Chevy SS honors Baker's Gray Ghost with a paint scheme inspired by the iconic car. Pretty sure Buddy Baker, I shouldn't say pretty sure. Buddy Baker passed away, I think last year, so I guess it's nice to give a tribute to him. Obviously, he was a great broadcaster as well. That was back in the old TNN days of NASCAR, which I also remember, which is probably dating me a little bit. But yeah, this is interesting because it's a Dale Jr. car that doesn't have a black bumper. So I guess he decided to forego his mandate of that to make a more accurate throwback scheme and a tribute to Buddy Baker. Yeah, you know, I don't think Jeff Gordon did very well in the race either. In fact, I don't think any of these cars that I have were particularly successful. Of course, Truex won the race in a car that wasn't really a throwback, so we'll probably be seeing that car in NASCAR Athletics, though, I would imagine, in a race winner segment at some point. So, let's take a look at all these cars together, and I'll give some of my final thoughts. So here they are, at least some of the Darlington throwbacks. Obviously, the Trevor Bayne was absolutely my favorite. Carl Edwards was probably second, and Casey Mears third. Unfortunately, you know, I wasn't able to do the full wave, Darlington wave. I'm kind of disappointed in that, but no one to blame but Walmart on that one, especially considering the only cars I found at Target. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on it. Also comment and let me know down below what your favorite throwback scheme was. Doesn't have to be one made by Lionel. Could be one that just struck your fancy. And also subscribe for more NASCAR Authentics. When I find Wave 9, I will get it up on the channel, and that should be a good video as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.